I don't know. Here's my. This is the hottest take I've ever given. Okay. Transphobia is bad. I'm gonna get clipped for that one, but no. In all seriousness, here's my personal opinion. Okay. The idea of a cyberpunk future in which sexuality is highly commodified, that tends to be a component of cyberpunk. And there's a lot of variety in human bodies. I mean, if we're talking cyberpunk, do you even have to be you can be a cis woman with a penis. You can do whatever. These terms start to break down the easier you can make modifications to your body. I think that it's possible to have a future where you show all this. You got ladies, the big fat cocks, and dudes with meaty pussies, whatever. And it's sexualized, the sexuality is commodified, and it's not transphobic. I do think that's possible. The issue is, and a lot of this is just a product of our time, unfortunately, the issue is it's really hard to tread that line because invariably, a lot of what you're going to represent is going to be reflective of modern prejudices. And for that reason, it's going to hurt people. Here's an example, okay? Here's a type of body that exists in the real world and could exist, hypothetically, and maybe with great celebration, in a cyberpunk world. A very feminine person with a big old dick and facial hair. There's nothing wrong with any of those components put together. The problem is, if you put a woman with a penis and you give them stubble, what does that look like today? Exactly, right? It looks like a transphobic caricature of trans women. Really, really rough to portray that. Yeah, it looks like a Stone Toss comic. It'd be really difficult to handle this stuff, you know? The intention can be done well, and I respect that. I haven't played Cyberpunk, so I don't know how well they handled it. I'd be willing to bet they could have done better, you know? I hope we all remember that our goal here in criticism should be constructive. So, let me give you an example, okay? Let's say you have a game, and the game has a trans character, okay? And the trans character is one of the romance options that you can have. Isn't it non-binary racing? I don't think inherently, but no. And the trans character, trans lady, is one of the romance options you can have. Now, here's the issue. Describing... Okay, here. It is not possible, even in passing, to describe sex with a trans woman without making somebody angry. Somebody will be made angry. You're going to make the conservatives angry one way. You're going to make the gender activists, woke, whatever, angry the other way, depending on how far you go. Even if you try really, really hard, sometimes certain turns of phrase, while acceptable to some elements of the trans community, can be unacceptable to others, you know? This isn't the only situation we have with this, you know? We also do this. We also have this with interracial relationships. Sounds weird, but, you know, black and white people fucking, great, been doing that for a while. But there's a really weird racial dynamic in some communities. A lot of black families don't like it when their sons run off with white women and vice versa. And to an extent, I know there are some black people watching right now. I'm sure you're all fine with race mixing. I mean, I would hope you all are. But I imagine some of you have probably heard well-intentioned black people criticizing white women stealing our men. Or it's a process of injecting whiteness into the racial dynamic. There was recently a viral Twitter post. I don't know. I could pull it up, but it was something like the Twitter post was a screenshot of two Insta posts, and the first post was it was like a glow up post, like look, I changed him. The first picture was like this. I don't know if he was black or brown or whatever, but he looked like super chill. He was like reclining in like a lawn chair. He had like big poofy hair and looked like, I don't know. My memory here isn't perfect, but he looked like really relaxed, I guess. And then in the second picture, he was standing next to the white girlfriend who posted the images, and he was like, I don't think I could say, there's nothing I could say here that's not going to make me look bad. Listen, I'll quote people in the Twitter thread, quotes like, he was colonized, she get outed him, she took his whiteness. Can anyone find that tweet for me? Please, please, please find that for me. He's in the sunken place. And stuff like this is really, I want that picture so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. I want that picture so we can contextualize. Here we go. Here we go. This tweet is from an account that no longer exists. You fucking kidding me? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, I found the repost. Okay. Oh God, they deleted their account. Oh God, the drama. Look. Here. Okay, this is the first picture before I met him. Chill, you know, cool. And then here's the second picture. Now, whatever your feelings on this hilarious pair of images, there are a couple of things I want to point out. First of all, if this fucking guy just wants to wear polo short shorts and do his hair however he wants, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I want to reiterate this point because a lot of people, they do this, they think they get so woke, they start saying like black people talk white. Black people can do whatever the fuck they want. If you want to dress like a frat boy, go for it. Okay. But there is something here. You agree there's something to talk about, maybe an implication, a concern, a joke, a question. There's something here, right? You understand what I'm talking about? Nothing inherently wrong. But it got over 100,000 likes in the first tweet, so obviously some people think there's something worth talking about here. The reason, like, why would she post it that way? Because white people are stupid. White women, listen, shut up. The point that I'm trying to get at here is that even for something that has a way greater, longer, and more publicized history in this country, like racial relations, there is sometimes complexities in representation and how that leads other people to perceive those situations. So how bad do you think it is for trans people? And that's what I wonder about with the cyberpunk thing, you know? How can you portray, you take that video game romance option, you got a trans lady as one of them. If you describe things, how salacious can you be? What if you fall into a stereotype, you know? Stereotype, there are lots of stereotypes about trans girls, about pretty much every minority group, or just about every group in general. Ask trans people for help. You can do that, and that'll usually help. Won't get you out of trouble for all of it. The one thing we have to be concerned about, the one thing we have to make sure doesn't happen, is we don't want people to stop trying. Because whether you like it or not, representation of trans people in the media is the gateway to trans normalization. You will never have trans normalization in society if it's taboo to discuss or show them in media. And part of discussing and showing them as trans people, it doesn't just begin and end with them being trans. There are elements of their transness that are going to come up. It's not just being trans, it's transitioning. It's about concerns with their identity and their relationships and their social engagement. And it's about sexuality too. And in Cyberpunk, the commodification of sexuality, which makes everything much more complicated. And it gets really, really, really tough to, you know, manage all of that. And I hope people always keep trying. You know, I hope people don't give up on that. Is this real or what am I looking at? What is this? Hold on. Apparently there's more. No, never mind. He got gentrified. All right, we can wait. I don't know what the reference is to there, but yeah, there we go. It all comes full circle. Man, what a glow down. Look at this cool dude. Oh no. She took away the exaggerated swagger of his black teen. Oh, the last pics from Get Out. Gotcha. Oh no. That's what happens when you don't vote Biden. in all seriousness, you can do whatever you want if you're black or white, except vote Trump. You can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. Let's stay focused. The point that I'm trying to get at here is that a lot of publicity was centered around Cyberpunk and its portrayal of ladies with bulges. You know, fine. And there's going to be criticism and backlash from both sides. There are going to be lefties who are mad at poor representation. There are going to be conservatives who are mad that they're being told to care at all. And our goal should be constructive criticism, not outright removal. There are a lot of people do that too with racial relations too. A lot of people talk about how the way interracial couples are portrayed in media reinforces particular racial dynamics. And some people go too far with that. They say, fuck it, you know, black people should date black people. And then shit, we woked ourselves back into the racially segregationist talking points, you know? So let's not do that, okay? The process of normalizing trans people in media is going to be messy, as is the case with any minority group. But I think we're moving in a pretty good direction. I feel like compared to 5 years ago, there's a lot of positive representation for trans people up and around, and I mean that's good, or it's preferable at least. You know, it's an improvement. I would imagine, because for the longest time, the only media representation for trans people it was either the degenerate cross-dresser or pornography, and that was it. Those were like the two. And then remember, it was all like the Thai trans prostitute. Like that was like a whole media archetype thing, and I guess it still is to this day to an extent, but for a while that was the only understanding I had of trans women, that there was a country and it was called Thailand and there were just ladies with penises over there. It still is, there's still that, but we've moved forward at least a little bit from the exclusionary association. Yeah, and they would use nasty terms for the trans ladies and stuff like that. And sometimes progress is really incremental too. Porn sites changing their categories from she-male to trans is an important step. I think that's an important step. So when people go to browsers or porn or whatever to jerk off, they have to click on the section that says trans instead of the section that says she-male. I mean, I think that's a significant, maybe not significant, but I think it's something. This is such a meandering segment. Pornhub is so transphobic with their categories. Well, I haven't like gone to every websites and like click and segment all of them, but yeah, just keep in mind that progress can be messy sometimes. That's it. It's that simple, you know. My personal preference, you know. Better at least than, and this is the worst case scenario, by the way. The worst case scenario is talking about these issues to the point where studios get the impression that even discussing or representing them is just a PR nightmare. They're not even going to try, you know? And that would be, I mean, that would set us back quite a bit, you know? So, yeah. What was even the point? I haven't even played Cyberpunk. I don't even know what we're getting at here. Just get along. Can we just get along with trans people? Are we going to play Cyberpunk on stream? Nope! I'm not into that sort of game for streaming. For streaming, I like structured, low dialogue games that are challenging and engaging. I don't like Skinner box games. I don't like repetitive games. And I definitely don't like heavy dialogue-based games. Because I like talking, and I don't want my vibe getting ruined by all the crazy, wacky cyberpunk people. Okay?